9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.
Say his name and he appears. I believe it said.
Hello, WWT Universe. It's been a long time. It is I, your mayor. And yes, if you hear the sound of my voice, that means we are doing a Monday night mayor, not watch along, post show. And yes, Christina is also in the chat already. She said she's in the chat because Sid didn't want to do a watch along. She is 100% correct. You will never get a watch along from the mayor. Never. So time to stop asking. But it was a good Monday Night Raw. Obviously, it's the go-home show for Clash in Paris out in France. And we're getting a little bit of clarity onto what the card will be, as well as some shakeouts from some things, including our women's title pictures. But we're going to start with how we open the show. Of course, Roman Reigns is back. He's not a part-timer. He's back full-time. Kind of giving the address to the WWE Universe that he is a humble tribal chief. Looking down memory lane, he acknowledged some things, even acknowledged that Cody's premonition came true about him being a chief with no tribe, not having a bloodline. So we're seeing kind of that character arc of Roman Reigns where you might even pity him a little bit. I mean, the fanfare is still there. They were chanting Roman Reigns' name. I don't get like the double name chants that they do across the globe, but he was getting one of them things. Before he was interrupted by Paul Heyman, along with Bronson Reed, the tribal thief, so you would. And a war of words ensued. Some nice jabs from Bronson letting him know that down in Australia that he's a real Samoan, that his tattoos were earned and not bought. I thought that was a string wrinkle. And then Roman saying like, hey, I didn't even know you were Samoan. You belong to me. So I actually like this position for Bronson Reed. Obviously, you're getting a program, one of the top guys in the company. And this is like a year after Bronson Reed freaking exploded his ankles in that in War Games. Exploded his ankles. So the fact that he's able to wrestle a program with Roman Reigns is a big thing. And honestly, I'm hoping that he comes out victorious. I love the back and forth. They were fighting throughout the night. We even got a tsunami warning. I like that Corey Graves is doing that. I don't know who's going to come out on top, but I like that this is like the side mission for Roman while his family is doing other things. So it's like Roman's little redemption arc to the top of the mountain that really his family is kind of taking on. But that wasn't my favorite part of Monday Night Raw. I'll get to that a little bit later. But nice war words. Paul Heyman milking it, saying that, hey, we got somebody that can reprimand you, Roman Reigns, and really beat that tough love in you. But we'll see. Roman Reigns, Bronson Reed is set to take place on Sunday. Our first action tonight came after all that heckle went down with Dragon Lee versus JD McDonough, of course. I don't remember when the last time the tag team championships were defended, but we might be getting something with Judgment Day versus LWO soon. I'm glad they're trying to space it out a little bit. Nice hard action between both men. We're starting to see kind of a rebirth of Dragon Lee and what we know he can do in the ring, not only on Monday Night Raw, but he's been doing some great work in AAA. JD McDonough has been a phenomenal wrestler since his call-up, and it sucks that he's stuck in a tag team, in my opinion, but the match ended with Dragon Lee picking up a win. I think he needs this, as I guess Ray is still nursing injury, so he's kind of stepped up as the top dog of LWO. Of course, AJ Styles helped him pick up the win because he's still hot after Dom for the Intercontinental Championship. But good match to start the night, and I thought it was a really good program that we'll continue to see as we build to this iteration of LWO versus Judgment Day. We got Penta versus Kofi Kingston next. Xavier Woods been, I don't want to say whining. That's disrespectful to the New Day. He's been vocal about his neck injury all week, about how Penta used an illegal move to hurt his neck, even wearing a neck brace now. I don't know how everybody feels about this New Day. I think Grayson Waller actually fits. But this is a good match between one of the hottest stars of the year and one of the best vets in the company. And you saw why. And in the end, there was just enough done for Kofi Kingston to pick up a win and avenge Xavier Woods and keep this feud going. Now, I'm wondering how this will continue to play out because right now Penta is outmanned. There's 3-on-1 essentially. So I don't know if we're going to see maybe Andrade and Rey Fenix enter this. I know they're in the SmackDown tag team title picture, but we get a lot of movement going on anyway. But I would like to see it. I would love to see the Lucha Bros against the New Day because neither of which are firmly in the tag team title picture on either brand. But I mean, I think it's a good program for Penta to at least keep him away from the main title picture right now, which is housed by 4 other superstars, including the champion Seth Rollins. We had a nice war of words between Becky Lynch and Nikki Bella. And we now know the Intercontinental Championship will be on the line at Clash at Paris with Lynch defending against Nikki Bella. I don't know how everybody feels about this. I think Nikki's doing the best she can in these promo segments against Becky Lynch. I feel like she held her own, even calling Becky a coward. But it made me think of something Becky said. I forget which podcast she was on recently. I don't know if she was talking with Cody or who she was talking to, but she said she feels like she plays the heel role better because she can make people look good. And I think she did a good job of that today, selling the fact that she thought that Nikki was going to say a different C word and then saying coward's worse. Becky has been phenomenal with these European crowds, and her playing this up, this like her accolades and stuff like that, but still kind of being a cowardly heel kind of really works for her. I think she's in the right division. She's perfect for programming. She's not the marquee of programming, but she makes this division feel prominent, and which is why she should be in this division. But we'll do our predictions on Friday, of course, but I'm actually kind of looking forward to this match. I think it'll showcase what Nikki can still do in the ring. I believe they'll be good dance partners for each other. And this is a nice little pivot because I think it was supposed to be Nikki versus Liv. We're not doing that. Brie hasn't got the clearance yet to compete full time. So I think eventually we'll get a Bella's tag team run. But I like that we're still showcasing that, hey, Nikki Bella is here. She's working with the division. She's not just a part-timer. And we're giving her a meaningful program to do against a vet like Becky Lynch. Rhea Ripley, Roxanne Perez was our next match of the night. Honestly, there's so many like great things I can say about Roxanne Perez, but we'll talk about what's going on before the match where we saw EO kind of tell Rhea Ripley like, hey, like things is cool. I respect you. I appreciate all your help, but we can't be linking up like that no more. Kyrie and Asuka are my family. And shout out to Asuka who been it's like a slow burn into the heel characteristics. She got these glasses. She wearing Versace. Like I see the vision. No pun intended, because the Vision's a terrible group name, but I see the vision. Like Asuka up here and got that shit on again. So we'll see what this means. But Asuka and Kyrie in the background saw EO hugging it out with Rhea. Obviously didn't take too kind to that, and it showed up later on. But Rhea and Roxanne, great match. Roxanne does phenomenal work. She's probably been the most consistent wrestler in the Raw women's division outside of Io Sky, if I'm being completely honest. Roxanne's been phenomenal. So that match was obviously not a finish, as Raquel actually interrupted in the match. Christina's saying that people want a Rio tag team. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because if they do that, that means you're going to get Rhea and EO going against Charlotte and Alexa, and it's going to keep all 4 women away from me. Like, keep Charlotte away from the title picture. Keep Rhea away too, but I don't want to dilute the tag team division any further. I like to see some of those NXT women get shots at the tag team titles more often than not, and then throw some TNA women in there too. Like, why not have Charlotte's old assistant and Dana Brooke, Ash by Elegance, and her party go against the tag team champions? Like, let's curate more like out of left field storylines. That's how I would do the tag team division. But Ripley won by disqualification. The Judgment Day were attacking Ripley after the bell, which prompted Io Sky to come out and make the save. Yes, Asuka and Kyrie not too happy about this. And I'm pretty sure the transcription will come out later, but Asuka has some words for Io backstage and then walked off, to which left Kyrie kind of in the middle like she has been. And Io was trying to say, Kyrie, you got to trust me. And she just said, I'm sorry, and walked off. So we might be seeing like a clean split for those three women, or just at least more wrinkles in the family. There's some other promo segments I want to talk about before we get to the next two matches, because there was a lot of good on this Raw as we head into Clash at the Paris. But there was a moment, and I've been asking for this for a long time. It's more moments between Jay and Roman. And Jay was backstage, kind of in his head, and he actually asked Roman for some advice. We don't see those interactions so often. We saw Roman kind of stamp him, but that was another moment where you're saying, like, hey, Roman looking at Jay, looking at his cousin, his little cousin, and saying, like, you already know what to do. You've been here. Go smash them all. Like, do it for our family. And it's a version of Roman that's willing to take the back seat, which we haven't seen. Roman's always wanted to be at the top and be the one to carry the family into relevance. But he's telling Jay, like, no, like, you got this. Do work and know that I got your back. So Roman and Bronson fought throughout the night. We even saw them fight again before the main event. But I thought that was a very important moment to keep an eye on as Roman continues to take out the Vision in his way, while Jay is still trying to capture the championship. Another was what we're seeing with Bayley, which Lyra was even asking Adam Pearce backstage, like, hey, I think you should check in on this. Do a little wellness check. Make sure Bayley's good. I think it's worth your time. And I think this thing we're seeing with Bayley is probably the most interesting thing she's done since the Golden Role Models in the pandemic with her and Mercedes Moné. And she's having this mental crossroads where she hears the hugger, but also hears the role model. She's wondering who she should listen to for her next move to go forward in this stage of her career. Kind of being one of the elder statesmen of the women's division, not really in a title picture, but not really out of it, can kind of call your shot, but there's no direction. And I love that we're seeing this play out in these little vignettes, because she hasn't really ever acknowledged the hugger since she left the hugger gimmick and said she don't do that no more. So I'm not thinking that she's just going to tie her hair in a ponytail anymore and start doing that again, but it shows the crossroads that she's at. And I'm wondering if you'll get a mashup of the two, or even like the like a schizophrenia act or split personality where she's like R-Truth, where sometimes he's happy-go-lucky and sometimes he's Ron Killings. I'm really curious to see how they continue to like let that breathe and see what we get from Bayley here, because I think this would be a good time for a transition. Like if she can go into full, I hate that I'm bringing this up, if she can go into full Natty Neidhart mode and show like a different side of herself, and they let Bayley do the runs around these different shows and programs, I think that could be dope. Of course, we had some promo segments where CM Punk mocked LA Knight, called him clumsy. LA Knight said that him and CM Punk got problems because he accidentally knocked on the table, which we saw more of that play out after the main event. Before we got to that, we saw AJ Styles take on Finn Balor, because Finn Balor stepped up for Dom, since AJ has just been around the Judgment Day entirely too much. And this is actually a good match. We've seen AJ Styles and Finn work many times before. It never gets old. The roll-up into the Styles Clash was just chef's kiss and just shows the chemistry these two men have had with each other for years. I really wish Finn picked up more singles wins, but I know where we're at this stage of Finn Balor. It's not going to happen. And we're going to keep AJ Styles strong. AJ Styles making good strides for Hater of the Year here. Constantly in Judgment Day business and constantly letting Dom know he's knocking on the door. And we now know that in Paris next week, AJ Styles will be challenging Dom Mysterio for the Intercontinental Championship. So we'll see what happens there. But another loss for Finn Balor, and another week where the tag titles were not defended by Judgment Day. Main event, Braun Breaker, LA Knight. Like I mentioned, Roman Reigns attacked Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed before the match. Then LA Knight also attacked Braun Breaker backstage. And this was a good match. Like, I've been vocal. I'm not an LA Knight guy, but I think him working with Braun Breaker kind of showed a little bit what he can do a little bit more on this Raw brand now that he switched from SmackDown. Braun Breaker did pick up the win with a little bit of a distraction from some stuff happening ringside with Seth Rollins. And that just shows where we're going with Braun Breaker. And then, of course, all chaos ensued. We're attacking LA Knight after the bell. Jey Uso comes and tries to make the save. The numbers game doesn't work. CM Punk comes out and attacks Seth Rollins, gets his hands on Seth for the first time since dropping the belt, it seems like. And then the heels hightailed it. And then you got Jey, LA Knight, CM Punk in the ring. LA Knight obviously has a problem with CM Punk. They're pushing each other. Jay gets some friendly fire. Jay is the one who actually, I don't want to say cast the first stone, but he drew his line in the sand and actually super kicked both men and stood tall at the end of the night, yeeting his way as the show jumped off programming, which I don't know if that's a sight, but I think it shows that Roman once again has put a battery in Jay's back to go be about his business. So I'm curious to see where that goes. I'm curious to see if we see more of Roman in Jay's ear in an advocacy sort of way, where it allows Jay to kind of, yes, happy-go-lucky yeet and all that, but also allows him to be prime for activity, like prime be the pit bull that he used to be in the bloodline. Of course, I think Seth will have the belt for a while, but I think it's interesting to see that maybe Jay will kind of exceed CM Punk in the hierarchy there with his chase for the title. But I'm looking through some of the comments. Christina says she wants to bring out all the faces of Bayley for different titles. I would love that. CJ saying Bayley needs this to get back to the world championship. I agree. Yeah, what's up, Aaron? Happy August 25th, man. I've been grinding, man. Been grinding, but I'll be back here now. WWE Movie Maker says Stephanie Vaquer might be next up. And I'm glad you mentioned Stephanie because we did get news about Stephanie as well. Clash at Paris, Stephanie was the number one contender for Naomi's title, and now Naomi has now relinquished the title due to her pregnancy. So Stephanie Vaquer will not be competing at Clash at Paris. We don't know when she will be competing, but we do know that after Clash is over, that Adam Pearce will name another challenger for the title. And it seems like it's going to be a one-on-one match with somebody that's handpicked versus Stephanie. Now, I'm very curious who is handpicked because we see that everyone else is kind of tied up, if you would. Like Io and Rhea are doing that thing against Raquel and Roxanne. The Kabukis are kind of tied up in that. I'm really wondering who they're going to hand select for Stephanie to face. I'm wondering if there's a returning name there. Liv Morgan comes to mind. Maybe she's healthy to go. I think that'd be fun. But there's no doubt in my mind that Stephanie shouldn't be the woman to carry this title because she's the hottest act, and they have been keeping her quiet. Even before the Naomi news, she was like kind of on ice. I think they knew something was going on backstage, but kind of on ice. So I think they're trying to make it seem like, hey, we still got this hot act here. We want to make sure we introduce her as the leader of the Raw division the right way. Bose is saying, I wonder if Naomi was supposed to beat Stephanie. Yeah, I don't doubt it. I don't think for 1 second that Naomi would have dropped that title to Stephanie. So now they got to pivot. Pierce says she has to wait a week, tells me whoever the women's tag team champions are, one of them will face Stephanie September 20th. I'm not sure. I like how they're doing it, and I think it's they're trying to position it to be a big match on a different show because you're crowning a new champion either way since Naomi's relinquishing. But I think it's very interesting that they couldn't come up with something by Sunday. So we'll have to see what they plan. But all in all, it was a good Monday Night Raw. I have no issues with the show. Like I said, there might be some more matches added as of SmackDown on Friday. We'll have to see. But it seems like it's going to be a really good Clash of the Castle card, despite John Cena wasting one of his dates on Logan Paul. I actually think that's going to be a big match too. But we're going to make sure we get you our predictions on Friday's show. Our shows the rest of the week for WWE Live will be at a little bit of different times, you guys. I can announce this now. They'll be at 7 p.m. Pacific time, 11 p.m. Eastern time on Wednesday and Friday. We'll have all the news, all the action, and hopefully we'll actually have a full house because it's a little bit later to where we can all serve you guys outside of that busy daytime schedule. But that's it for the Monday Night Mare, y'all. I'm glad to be back. I'll start doing more of these especially since they'll be in Paris next week. I'll give you guys one a little earlier in the day. But you can catch me in these streets all the time at Says the Answer on the gram, on TikTok, and Says on the Twitter feed. And, of course, we always hear Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We have post shows, watch alongs, a lot of interviews. Check out the Kayfabe podcast as well and what everybody's doing to make WWE Live a very special place where you guys get up-to-date women's wrestling news at all times. But until next time, guys, I'll see you guys Wednesday. I'll be hosting personally on WWE Live. This has been the Monday Nightmare. I'm happy you guys rocked with me for these 20 minutes, and I'll catch you guys another night this week from the #1 women's wrestling platform and network on the planet. Peace, y'all.
Thanks for joining WWT. Don't forget to like us on all social media platforms at WW Talk Pod. Like and subscribe on all video and audio platforms like yesterday, my G. And check out our website at www.talkpod.com. Thanks for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.